Hello, everyone. My name is Otis McKinney. Good evening. Today I'll be talking about two of the most important parts of Arizona democratic process, the initiatives and the referendum. These two ideas are at the very heart of what's called direct democracy. In many states, laws are made mostly by elected officials, but in Arizona, the people themselves have the stronger voice. Citizens here can propose laws, reject laws, and shape their own government in a way that most states don't allow. That one of that's one of the things that makes Arizona unique. The beliefs, the beliefs that a real democracy means. Everyone should have a chance and participate, not just politicians. So let's just start with a few basic definitions. An initiative is a process that lets citizens propose new laws and even amendment to the Arizona Constitution when a group of people believe that something needs to change. Maybe it's about taxes, voting, education, or health care. They can write their own proposal. If they collect enough signatures from registered voters, the issue is placed directly on the statewide ballots. A referendum, on the other hand, works in the opposite direction. Instead of creating a new law, it gives votes the power to approve or reject laws that already been passed by the state legislature. So it's the citizens. If the citizen disagrees with something that lawmakers have proposed, they can say, "Wait a minute, we want a final say." In short, the initiatives start new laws while the referendum challenges existing laws. Now let's look at how these process actually happens. For an initiative, it all begins with an idea. A person or a group witnesses their proposal and titles it worth it. The Arizona Secretary of State, from there, they have to collect a certain number of valid signatures to get it on the ballot. For state laws, the number equates to 10% of the total votes cast in last governor's election. Excuse me. For constitutional amendments, it's 15%. That might not sound like much, but when you think about it, Arizona populations that mean hundreds of thousands of signatures, all verified before the measure even qualifies for the ballot. Once the signatures are submitted and verified, the proposal appears on the ballot during the next general election, where voters decide its fate. A referendum is a bit different. About after legislators pass a law, citizens have just 90 days to collect signatures if they want to challenge it. If they gather enough valid signatures within the window, the law is paused. It doesn't take effect until voters have a chance to decide on it during the next election. That's a big deal because it shows how much control voters truly have. They can stop a law in its track and demand a public vote before it ever becomes reality. So, when will we compare the two? The initiative is proactive. It's the people leading change and creating something new. The referendum is reactive. It's the people responding to something that is they disagree with. But the two have the same foundation fundamentally. They give the power of the government back to the people. That's why these two tools often are called the people's check on the government. They keep they keep the balance between electives, officials, and the public, making sure the power doesn't drift to too far away from the people who are supposed to be served. Of course, like democratic tools, the initiatives and have the pros and cons. On the positive side, they empower the citizens. They remind us that democracy is not a spectator sport. It's something that we take part in. These processes lets voters speak directly on important issues, especially when they feel the legislature is isn't listening. They can also push forward social challenges, for example, issues like minimum wage increase, marijuana legislation, and education funding have come through citizen fed initiatives here in Arizona. But there's a downside too. It takes a lot of time, money, and organizations to collect signatures. That means well funded groups sometimes have the advantage over grassroots movements, and not even voters read or understand the full details of proposal, which means complicated issues can get reduced. It's a simple yes or no. So there's also the risk of voter fatigue. When too many initiatives crowd the ballot, people may stop paying attention or vote without fully understanding what's going on. Still, most Arizonians agree that even with these challenges, the initiatives and referendums process keeps government open, accountable, and responsive. The process comes straight from the Arizona Constitution, which was written in 1910, just before Arizona became a state. The framers of the Constitution wanted to make sure the citizens would always have a direct hand in the government. Hmm. They believed that democracy worked best when ordinary people can step in when leaders forget who they serve. So when Arizonians file an initiative or referendum today, they're carrying forth the same spirit and believe that power that belongs to the people. In closing, initiatives and referendums are more than a political tool. They're a living example of democracy in its action. They show that they show the Arizona government is built on just it's not built on just representation, but participation. Every time citizens sign a petition or vote on a ballot measure, they're shaping the future of Arizona. One signature and one vote at a time. Thank you for your time.